Let's try that one. All right, we got our first viewer. Welcome to the Gilded Coin Tavern. Oh, what up, shops? Shapes Smigo. Greetings and thank you for joining us here by the fire. How are the bards? Are they too loud? Can you hear them? So we should play it a little louder then. How's that? Maggie, we looking good? I've been banished to the quiet of the garage, so I don't have too much Wi-Fi connection. Excellent. Well, we're a little bit early. It's just hitting 11 now, so we'll see how many other people we get joining us, and it might just be you building our character here. Mr. Bojangles said he would be joining us as well, and I extended invitations to various and sundry people of the kingdom. Oh shit, we got a second viewer. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining us here by the fire. In the tavern by the fire. The tavern is not on fire. Not yet. We are currently in the process of requesting music from the bard. We're going 1926, the Cotton Club right now. All right, let's see what else we got here. We've got the Den of Inequity and the Halfling Lodge. What do we think, travelers? What is our forging music tonight? I can't say I'm digging the Cotton Club. This one is the Halfling's Lodge. I like it. Let's hope we can get a couple more people in here. The two of you will be forging this guy solo. Or girl. Or blob. Or gremlin. Goblin. Well, that'll be up to you guys. So we're going to forge a brand new character. And we're going to forge this soul by firelight. That's what this segment is going to be called, Forging the Soul by Firelight. And you guys will decide what it is. You're a fucking goblin. Goblin Sentinel, what a cool name. Thank you for joining us here in the tavern, Goblin. Or if we get one more person, we've got 3, and then we can't get tied in votes. What about the Viking Tavern? I always like a good Viking Tavern. Oh shit, here he is. And entering through the tavern door, Bojitsu. Fantastic. Well, that makes 3, so we can get started. Welcome, travelers, terrors, and troublemakers, to the Gilded Coin Tavern. I'm the Tavernkeeper. Master of Mug, Teller of Tales, and Keeper of the Fire that never goes out. Thank you for joining us here tonight. It's my first one. I am not nervous. I'm a totes professional tavern keeper. So here's how we're going to do things in this tavern of mine. First, we're going to build a soul together, a character born right here in this very tavern. You'll decide where they're from, the frozen towers of Kadan, the desert waste of southern Kennria, maybe some forgotten place in between. You'll choose their race, their calling, their craft. You'll choose everything. And then moving from there, I'll spin the world around them, and we'll see what kind of legend or disaster we make here together in the Gilded Coin Tavern. Now, I'm going to warn you, this tavern does remember all of its guests. So every name you give and every oath you swear will be remembered. And it may just find its way into the stories we have to come. And if the tavern goes quiet, or if we get below 3 viewers and nobody wants to talk to me, I have a story that I've written in honor of my hearthhound that has passed away in the past couple of days. So forgive me if when I read that I burst into tears like a baby. So before we get started and we tell this story, we've got to forge this soul. And every soul here in the tavern is forged through ale, fire, and argument. So some of the races you name, Goliath, Dragonborn, what have you, they're going to carry a little bit of the old Kennrian blood. So they'll be their regular race with a little bit of a twist. And then there's some other things, a little newer, the Dragonborn, the Veiled Touch, the Spiritbound, and stranger than that even. Depending on what you choose, we will build a soul together. So answer true and answer bold. Don't overthink it. We love recklessness in this tavern. So where are we going to be from? Are we going to be from the frozen south of Kennria? We could be from the broken lands of Kadan. We could be from some forests in between. What are you guys thinking? All right, let's see if you hit him. Me? Am I him? Am I who you shank? A 7 does not beat my armor class. You miss. Ah, that was quick. Always got to go in with those comedic redactions. So what are we thinking? Where would we like our friend to be from? If you just name like an environment, I can tell you a little bit about it. I've got 37 cities. We've got 2 whole continents, a secret 3rd continent. We have all kinds of stuff. Wow, 5 viewers. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm not quite proficient with Twitch yet, so I don't see who's joined us, but thank you for joining us here by the fire. Maybe I can. Frozen lands? Cool. We have 2 options for frozen lands if we lean that way. Any other suggestions? All right, cool. We got 2 votes on the frozen lands. What about our 2 other mystery viewers? What are we thinking? 2 mysterious strangers enter the tavern. They take a seat beside the fire, silent but observant. If that's the way we're leaning, I have one called Jacques Cadon. Think Vikings. And then we have a second option, which is the frozen south of Kennria. Shaka Khan. Chakradon? Jotkadon. Jotkadon. From the south. So think berserkers that are very mistrustful of outsiders, and their southern lands have been cursed into 500 years of ice. They're 50 years from this point of the 500 years being up. You've got 3 major tribes down there, and they are going to be led by 3 separate witch circles. It's a little bit more information than I think I should be giving you. But think Shaka Zulu, but frozen. But if you can think of a culture, I probably have a place based on it. And then twisted. Vikingish one. All right, chat. We're coming up for our first vote. So everybody thinks frozen land. Everybody wants to be from somewhere frozen. Can you guys do a thumbs up emoji for frozen land? Go to control center. Express myself with it. I am not that professional yet. So everybody who wants to be from our Viking land, let me get a thumbs up. Hell yeah. Fantastic. So it looks like we're going to be from Viking world. So that place is called Jacques Cadon. So you have a few options there. We can be any of the regular races from D&D. Once we thumbs up. That's like me in chat. That's how I twitch. I'm like, how do I do this? So what are we? Are we mortal, human, dwarf? Are we the version of halfling that inhabit my world? Are we something the gods have whispered together after too much wine? Do we have scales? Do we have bristles? I know. I already feel I'm so disappointed. I already lost a viewer. No, it took 18 minutes though, so I think that's not bad. If we gain 5 and lose 1 every 18 minutes, we'll do all right. It did come down to a 50-50 vote, so I could flip a coin. You know, I got one of those. We go heads for Viking World, tails for the Frozen South. Oh, why would I flip a coin? We've got dice. Yeah, you did pick the place. Do Viking? Cool. So you can do anything. You can be human, dwarf. We've got some badass dragonborn, courtesy of moi. We have some cool Goliaths that naturally inhabit that area. Let's switch it up. Let's go Halfling Lodge. Goliaths are the big guys. Yeah. I suppose that I should be taking notes. All right, cool. So we've got a Goliath from Jacques Cadon. Excellent. So we do have a few options for your Goliaths. The ones that are going to be naturally inhabiting that area. Let me flip through my magical book here. So you do have a few options. We have the Goliaths that naturally inhabit that area. Those are going to be very Viking-esque. And then we have the other types of Goliaths, which you would know about as a Goliath. So I'm going to tell you about them. I think I've got 7 of them. Let me pull them up here in my codex. So for our Goliaths, we've got the Iceborn Goliaths. We've got Ember Goliaths. We have... Where are the rest of them? Wild Goliaths. Those are kind of like nature-born Goliaths. We're going to have some Twisted Goliaths, and we will have some Abyssal Goliaths. So what's the Ember Goliath? So the Ember Goliath is going to be from Volcadon, which is two continents down from you in your area to the south. It's going to be a very desert island place. They're going to have some black wastelands of black desert. They'll have some rocky mountains. They're inhabited by the fire giants as well as the fire Goliaths. You do have a few options again for the fire Goliaths as well as far as their background, but for your, I'm sorry, Ember Goliaths. Think fire Goliaths. And they've kind of got a Greek parallel going with them. So the fire Goliaths, or the Ember Goliaths, I should say, are naturally occurring in the mountainous area of Volcadon, and then the fire giants, who are very Spartan in their legions, they took this group of Goliaths and they've made them slaves, and so they use these slaves like think Romanesque, Spartan-esque empire. So they have some fighting pits for them. They've made them laborers as well, and then you've got two offshoots from that. You've got the fire Goliaths who fled north to Lorcadon to get away from the fire giants. Still into trees. Yeah. There's the wild Goliaths for the trees. Let me pull them up. I think I've only got one thing going for them at the moment. I don't think I have too many backgrounds. There's also deep Goliaths and wind Goliaths in my list here. So your wild Goliaths are one of the most common. Those are mostly, let's talk nature. So those guys are going to be very nature oriented. They're going to live deep in forests and really anything that can constitute itself as a forest. So if or an environment really. So they would live in forest, jungle, rainforest. They'd live in a tundra. So they kind of take a blend of the things around them. You're into it? All right, cool. Let me tell you a little bit more about them then. Pull them back up. I switched back over to my Tavern Talk document, so I will get a little bit more polished with this. Yay, giant frozen tree Viking! That's what I'm talking about. So let me pull up the Goliaths again. All right, the Verdant Wardens. So their proverb that I've tagged them with because I've got a little tag for everybody. Cool, we're still at 3. Hell yeah. The forest does not ask to be saved. It asks to be understood. So these guys don't build cities, they grow them. Their settlements are like living circles, trees coaxed to intertwine into walls and stuff like that. Think of the living gate of Vakram. These guys are definitely the ones who started that type of magic. They act as druids, rangers, elemental wardens. They speak with the beast, stuff like that. So they would serve as like a keeper of the natural order of things within Jacques Cadon. Is that the way we're leaning? We're going to be a giant frozen tree Viking. Thank you for joining us here at the fire. We're back up to 4. I like it. Taverns are never very busy this late at night. All right, so we're going to be a Verdant Goliath in Jacques Cadon. Fantastic. I love it. After writing this whole book of stuff, I didn't think about how hard it would be to pronounce all of the names on stream. They sound so natural in your head, but then you start saying them out loud. All right, so our next question, I believe we went to question 2, so we're on question number 3. What drives us? What are our end goals? What keeps our boots moving? Love, revenge, some unpaid debt? Do we crave glory, gold, or peace? Or something darker than that? Are we a destroyer of mankind or giant kind or Goliath kind as it encroaches upon the wilderness and the natural austere beauty of the tundra? Or do we work to find harmony for them? For Valhalla! Valhalla! I've got something for that. So if we had to ask for the one thing our new character would die for, what would we call? What would we say? I would say is the verdant warden or the verdant Goliath. No Viking war conquest maidens. Viking war conquest maidens. Glory. Okay, I like that. Very leans into the predator of the predator prey cycle. So are we more into glory lasts forever?
Glory never dies till Valhalla.
All right, cool. So that's going to be our driving thing is glory. Are we after treasure? Do we care for treasure? We're very the verdant Goliaths tend towards solitude, but it's whatever you like. Do we
Okay, glory.
Yes, glory. We'll write glory twice. I was just curious as to what our definition of glory was in this circumstance. But I will write glory twice and underline it. All right, so what do our hands do best? Do we heal, steal, strike, goblin, can't eat treasure, or fight it? Or, duh, all the things glorious. All right, I got it. I'll write glory 3 times and I'll highlight it. So do we find glory in battle? We hunting down the big ass things of this continent and just taking them down in one-on-one combat? Love that. Did that fix my tone? Can you guys hear me better again? All right. Stuff of legends. We're gonna do big monster hunts. That's the vibe I'm picking up from you guys, right? Big monster hunts. Striking fear in the hearts of our foes and lust in the eyes of maidens. Oh, I love it. Okay. Lustful maidens, terrified enemies. Fantastic. I love it. Great character building, Bojitsu. All right, so moving on to our class and skill. What do our hands do best? Do we heal? Do we steal? Do we strike? Or do we build? Do we trust in magic or the honest steel of a blade? When trouble comes calling, essentially, do we talk to it or do we stab it in the face? I think I'm picking up stab it in the face, but let me ask you guys. Strike. Digging it. Slap. I shank it.
Shank it. Stab it. Stab it.
So what are we leaning towards then in our class? What do you guys think for class? Monk would be good for slapping. We could do fighter. Barbarians are always nice. Barb. High rage. All right, we got 1 vote for Barb. Any arguments there? Any questions from the 3 viewers? The 3 tavern folk, I should say. Let's not break immersion. The not night class. I can't remember it. I don't know what you just said, but it's got a bunch of purple stars for me. So I imagine it's something not nice. The fighter does what it says on the tin class. Does what it says on the tin class. He's good at fighting things, so that might be it. You've also got the paladin, so maybe that's what you're thinking. I dig that. We could be like a nature paladin. Were we thinking paladin? Everyone throw a big fat P in chat. All right, cool. We'll be a pally. Sweet. That's cool. I like where this is going. Not what I would have thought. So we're going to be a verdant Goliath in the frozen north of Jacques Cadon. We're going to be the stuff of legends, lustful maidens, and terrified enemies. We attack things first. So as a paladin, what do you think we're going to follow? So I do have 9 primary gods in this world, and they follow basically everything you could think of. So I've got one for war. I've got one for light and order. I've got one for darkness and secrets. We've got one for nature, which is kind of the one I was thinking you guys would lean towards. But then there's also the trickster goddess. We have the goddess of death and in the future. We have Westgate. Deep cut, yes, Westgate. That would be Lornell. Lornell is the god of nature. Many things fall under his domain. But I think essentially think of him as your druid nature hippie god. Sweet. Paladin of Lornell. Cool. I'm going to get to build some cool ass stuff for this. I mean, we will be building the stuff of legends. Armor that glints green in the sunlight. A sharp sword of wood. We'll get there. We'll get something cool. All right. So, who walks beside us? I think we were just nailing that down. What's our faith? Who's our patron? So we're gonna go with Lornell, the nature god. And I think I made him a god. He might be a goddess. Let's pull it up in the ancient texts. You think it would be easy to remember this. All right, let's go down to number 5, Lornell. Oh, number 6. Ah, yes, Lornell is a female. Yes, the first of the beast folk are said to be her children, whom she walked the world with in animal form. Oh yeah. Let's not gender lock the goddess / god of beasts. Fantastic, you're correct. I gotta get some better way of seeing when chat's hitting me up. Maybe I'll get some cool glasses that I can push up on my nose in like very anime dramatic fashion. I can be like, actually. So yes, the first beast folks. I think Tabaxi, the serpent people, stuff like that. And it's very kind of dual-sided nature to this goddess. Is very predator-prey mentality there. So the symbol of this goddess is a crescent moon entwined with antlers. And typically you get druids, rangers, and members of the wilders who worship her. So is that kind of where we're leaning? We're going to go with Lornell, the goddess of nature and beasts. And that'll put us on to our next question. I like where this is going. You would think with it being a nature goddess, we would go druid, but I like that we went paladin. That's very cool. So who walks beside us? And a couple other questions here. Do we pray when we bleed, when we're in a battle? Are we going to be praying, or are we going to be laughing when we should be praying? And if someone calls our name in the dark, are we going to answer, or are we going to run away? I know the answer. Shank them. I don't even know why I ask. Shank them for both. Shank them. Shank them. Shank. I should just write shank, 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 and underline it. That's what we're going to do. Let me know if I'm wrong, but shank, right? We shank them. All right, so what do we fear? Let me take a wild guess on this. We fear our names not be going down in history as one of the baddest asses to walk the face of Kennria. Or Jotkadan is where we're at. Yeah, nothing. Fear nothing. I dig that. Oh, cool. We can play into that. That can make us. Oh no, we're gonna go with the scared of fear nothing, but not being a legend. Not being legend. I can't have it because I'm lactose intolerant. Dairy. It's a deep cut. I don't know if anyone will remember that. Having someone else take credit for our feats. Ooh, I like that. Someone stealing our glory. I'm old school. Use a pen and paper. I like that. Someone's stealing our glory. I love that. All right, cool. So what are we going to go to next? So what's our fear? What's our fear? The one thing that turns our courage to ash. We talked about that. If you met it in a dark alley. Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Shank it. All right, so what's our mark? Okay, I dig this. Grounds for shank on sight. That's what I'm talking about. Shank them. What do we do? Shank them. That's going to be our go-to. Shank them. Okay, so what do people notice first about us when we walk into if we walk into a room, which I imagine we don't do too much of, but should we step into the tavern tonight while we are gathered around this fireplace, what would be the first thing someone noticed about us? Dude, we got a bunch of scars. We have a big ass smile. Oh, we're large. Yep, that goes with Goliath. We are large. Our devilish good looks and chiseled jawline, but huge. Our our devilish good looks. So we're good looking and we're large. I like it. It's gonna be a very straightforward character. We're big, we look fantastic, and we shank things. Excellent. So we are a large, good looking. I didn't ask, are we? I think Bruce Campbell and Joe Swanson. But kind of give them a crimson chin, kind of. The crimson chin. Both legs. Yes, we must have legs. All right, appearance. Crimson Chin meets Joe Swanson. Working legs, correct. Working legs. Joe Swanson does have legs. Who wears short shorts? I wear short shorts. All right, so coming up on that, what is our name? I have naming conventions for every possible race you could think of. However, the wild Goliaths tend to name themselves, or just keep the name that their parents gave them, which is, I think, very hippie names. So what's our taser face? All right, taser face. I like that. That's definitely a name to strike fear into the heart of people who know what tasers are. This is Blaze, and this is Laser, and this is Blazer. Do, 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 do. Yes, you got it. You got the deep cut. I knew you would. I did that one just for you. Do we have cool scars? I imagine we probably have some badass scars from all the giant monsters we fought. Middle name, wait for it. Let's see, what can we do with that? Legendary. Cool. Logan Darul. Mm. Oh, we're up to 6 viewers. Wow. Hello. Well, thank you for joining us here by the tavern. Well, just to let you know, we are in the middle of Forging a Soul by Firelight, is the name of this section. So far, we are a verdant Goliath. So think very nature hippie Goliath. Green toned skin, Logan, Walfrit, Daria. Oh, that's cool. Daria, very much, we're working on the name for him right now. So he is very much into glory, being the stuff of legends. He wants lustful maidens and terrified enemies. He's going to be the paladin of Lornell, who is the goddess of nature and beasts. I wrote shank, shank, shank 3 times and underlined it because that's what he does when he sees something he's scared of. Because he fears nothing except for not going down as a legend or someone stealing his thunder. He is very large and very good looking. Think Crimson Chin meets Joe Swanson, but with working legs. And now we're moving on to the name. And I've got a pretty good contender here for the name at the moment. We've got Logan Walfrit Daria. So we're trying to make a name on a play on the word legendary. So if we have any other suggestions from our tavern folk, give me a shout. I like Logan because the legend part of it, legend Logan, kind of goes together. It also gives me super Dragon Age vibes. Is that right? Dragon Age? I think it's Dragon Age Inquisition. Logan, like that. Walfrit. Walfrit? Is that how you say it? Walfrit? Oh, because wait for it. God, I'm so dumb. Logan Walfrit Dairy. Legend, Daria. Legend, wait for it, Dairy. I love that so much. Logan Walfrit Daria. Fantastic. Well, if unless we have any other contenders along that are as good as Legend, I mean Logan, wait for it, Dairy. Logan Walfrit Daria. That's cool. I dig that. So now we're gonna dig in. We're gonna get into the crunchy, munchy backstory of this gentleman. Or I meant to ask, are we male or are we female? Or are we gonna leave that up to the ether of the chat? The next one we're moving to is what was our first sin? Question number 8. Super dude. Super dude. I'm so much of a man. I have 3 testicles. I'm gonna have to edit that out of the YouTube. So what's the first wrong thing we ever did, and do we still regret it? I don't want to be a chiseled jawline female. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you don't like a woman with a good chin? I love a woman with a good chin. So if we poured a drink strong enough to burn the truth out, what would we confess to? And if we could do it again, would we? So what's our biggest regret? We were up to 6 there for a moment. We were doing well. No regrets? Not even one letter? We don't even regret a Saved a town, didn't tell anyone. Oh, that's cool. Well, we probably didn't save the town on purpose, right? We probably were after whatever the big ass thing was taking the town down, and we just happened to save them. Didn't get our glory. That's what it would be. That's what I was gonna suggest. It would be that no regrets, except okay. What was this town we saved? Was it a dwarven town? A human town? There are a vast amount of frost Goliaths and frost giants in Jotkadan, as well as a small amount of humans. There would be some beast folk, but they would be, like snow tigers, stuff like that, geared towards the Arctic. And then we would have as well dwarves. You'd have some dwarves. They'd be few and far between, but we'd have some. Stole someone else's glory when we accidentally saved a band of traveling gnomes. Oh, I dig that. Who's oh, cool. No regrets except we saved a town and didn't tell anyone. And then we saved a band of traveling. So the gnomes in my world are actually, so I've taken halflings and gnomes and I've combined them into one thing, and I call them Waitari. So think the ingenuity of gnomes with the comfort seeking of halflings. So every invention they have serves a purpose. So we saved a band of traveling Waitari. That makes sense too, because they'd be good merchants. I guess you'll never guess what their city is called. Their kingdom is called Way to, because it's on the way to everything. So we saved them, and whose glory did we steal when we did that? Someone else was about to take out the the cave bears that were attacking, or the frost trolls. But we haven't seen frost trolls in these parts in years. Saved a band of traveling merchants. I love it. But in the process, stole glory. Fantastic. Oh, we were filling this book up. I didn't think I'd be taking so many notes. I mean, the tavern is always jumping at this time of night. Oh no, we're back down to 3. We had 5 there for a minute. So, what's our first step? Where does our story begin? Is it at the end of the rope? Is it at the bottom of a bottle? Are we on the first step onto a path to glory? Or are we, what are we doing? Are we on a hunt? Best viewer streamview.com. Remove the space. I don't know what that means. I think I just got spammed. Get out of here, spam. So what up? Where's Logan from? Logan Wathrick Daria. Silly bot, get out of here. Yeah, you silly bot. Get the hell out of here. I think I need to change my settings so they can't get in, but I had such a hard time making the tavern sign discoverable on the Twitch search bar that I was just like, everybody can come in. Yeah, on the road to glory for Valhalla. My second guess was on the way to shank something, and my third guess was on the way to a lustful maiden. So I imagine we're on one of the bigger hunts that we've been on a big hunt, big glory filled hunt. Fantastic. We can do all those on the same road. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. So we're starting a hunt for, and now we get to do a little bit of world building. So I do have some creatures I've created already, and then you have your regular run-of-the-mill creatures. But what rumor have we heard that has brought us to this point where we're starting a hunt? What are we after? If you guys can't come up with one, there's many tales of many different things here in the tavern. We've got a frost-maned lion. We've got the great oarback snail. We've got, let me think, what else have we got? Ooh, some of my favorites are the blood honey wasps, the blood honey bees of Kennria. Those are absolutely terrifying. Just creating them gave me nightmares. We could be after a giant bear. I mean, this is giant land, so I mean, there's going to be some. Frost lion would make a great hunt for a cloak of fear. Oh, I dig that. Okay, hunt for a frostmane lion. Okay, cool. And where did we hear about this lion? Did we just find the tracks ourselves? We came across these tracks and decided to hunt it, or did we hear a rumor in in one of our infrequent visits to a mead hall? I would say. One of the guards of the merchants. Maybe we are taking him on a hunt to help him regain his glory. Oh, I dig that. Whose glory did we steal? Maybe one of the guards of the merchants. A rumor at the Gilded Coin Tavern. I like that. I haven't decided exactly where the Gilded Coin would be at in my world yet. I was thinking probably somewhere far away, as the Tavern Keeper has been on many adventures and decided to retire, and he took this tavern over from an old friend. So, um, I was kind of thinking it would be a tavern that would show up um, wherever it was needed the most, kind of deal. Uh, that classic D&D tavern that everybody always meets at. So he visited the Gilded Coin Tavern. So GCT rumor, and let's say Baba Yaga Tavern on chicken legs. Baba Yaga Tavern on chicken legs. I like that one much more. Okay, cool. So Baba Yaga Tavern on chicken legs. What does everyone think of that? Baba Yaga Tavern on chicken legs. Cool. So this would obviously be a very creepy traveling tavern that the Goliath just came across. Fantastic. So the Baba Yaga, I imagine, is going to be ran by a hag. To be a tavern ran by a hag. Didn't know John Wick was in this world. Obviously we are John Wick. What did you mean? You keep saying Shankum. What did you think we were going to do that with a pencil? Clearly, Ken. So that would be where we heard that rumor. That's fantastic. Excellent. So, I already read that one. Wonderful. So, to recap, we are a verdant Goliath in the frozen northern continent of Jod Kadan. We're after unconventional hag. What does unconventional hag mean? Oh, pretty hag. And then she's a pretty hag that struggles with her prettiness, right? Because all the other hags are disgusting. So when she puts on wart cream, she puts it on and it grows warts on her nose temporarily so she can look extra haggish. I love that. Fantastic. And so now we get to build our character. And now I suppose we're going to need to decide, as a paladin, what kind of weapons and armor we'll be wearing. It's awful, doesn't know how to deal with herself. Why have I been cursed with this beauty? All the other hags are disgusting. Why can I be like them? So what kind of weapon will we be using? Sorry, I was taking some notes. What kind of weapon will we be using for our war axe and a shank? Obviously a shank. What was I thinking? So are we thinking a great axe, two-handed big-ass axe? Or are we thinking a one-handed war axe? Oh, a mace. I can dig a mace. Mace is cool. But obviously, we have to have a shank. Let's send it back to Viking lands. With us being a giant, is the shank just a short sword? Shanks all the way. Yeah, I definitely would say a short sword would look more like a dagger in our hands. So we're thinking, what was our final consensus? Jesus, what was our final consensus? Are we going to be going great axe or are we going to be going mace? Shank is made of tusk. I like that. Cool. Mace, and then as far as shank, but the spiky ball mace. Like a morning star? Is that what you mean? You don't mean a flail, right? Do you mean the one on a chain? The one on a chain that you whip. Spiky ball mace is a morning star. Is that the chain one? No, the chain one is a flail. That's the one that you spin and it's like not with chain. Look at all of us look at all of us medieval nerds. We're like, actually that's a morning star. I like morning star or mace. A flail could be cool too. I think as a paladin you get proficiency in all the martial weapons, but I could be wrong. Yeah, all simple martial weapons, and then you get light, medium, heavy armor, and you can use shields. So we can do, I think, go heavy armor, medium armor, probably medium armor, and we can upgrade to heavy armor later on. What are we thinking? A glorious shield. Excellent. So we've got Morning Star. We have a shield. We have a shank. Glorious shield. We've got our tusk shank. And then what armor are we thinking? What's our armor look like? As our wild Goliath, do we have a leather armor? Is it made from like the shell of some great beast? I'm really digging that tusk sword that we have. Everybody has cool ideas for weapons. I'm going to pull up my character building app so we can put the finishing touches on Logan, Waffret, Daria. So we also have our choice of armor. Where are we leaning on that? I was thinking medium armor. I've not played with a paladin in quite some time. I honestly can't even remember if I've ever played a paladin other than the very first time I played. So I'm not 100% on if they get medium or heavy armor at the beginning, but I do know that they are proficient in it. So for our core paladin traits, what are we going to be proficient in? I'm thinking we've got athletics, insight, intimidation, medicine, persuasion, religion. I was thinking probably athletics, intimidation. Religion would make sense too. Intimidation, I like that. Athletics is a good one too. As far as paladins, that would make sense as well. But we do have insight, medicine, persuasion, religion that we can do as well. I think we've got it covered with intimidation, but we could go extra hard on a hardcore persuasion. Will you please let me have the thing? Give me the fucking thing! Athletics, intimidation. I love it. Cool. And then for our weapon mastery, we're going to choose, if I'm not mistaken, we went with, we're going to go with a maul. No, we have a morning star. Perfect. We'll go morning star, and we will go blunt. Yeah. Yeah, we're going with the blunt stuff. But we also wanted to be pretty good with the short sword too, yeah? Now for a background, I'm going to give us a little homebrew. I'm gonna...
Oh, thank you all for joining us here by the tavern. Just to let you know, we do have a character that we are working on building right now. His name is Logan, Waffret, Daria, a play on legend, wait for it, very. He is a verdant Goliath of the frozen north of Yat-Kadon. His goal is to be the stuff of legends. He's after glory. He is a paladin of Lornell, who is the goddess of nature and the beast folk, and he is all about shaking stuff, basically. He's your classic Viking in the search of glory, although he's more of a big monster hunter than a raider. He's into battles. He fears nothing except for not going down as a legend or someone else stealing his glory. He is large and good looking with a big square jaw, think crimson chin or just Swanson but with working legs. He regrets nothing except for one time when he saved a traveling Waytari merchant group. Waytari, my mix of gnomes and halflings. And in the process of doing that, he stole someone else's glory. Although we haven't fleshed out the details of that. He then later went on to find the Baba Yaga Tavern, which travels the world on chicken legs, and he heard a rumor there of a Frostmane lion. So now we're working out his background and his weaponry. We've chosen a morning star, a short sword made of a tusk that we have torn off the body of some unfortunate beast that crossed our path, and we have turned that into a short sword-like object. And then we are working on armor now. So any suggestions on the stabby?
Yeah. Stabby. We're going to beat them to death, and then we're going to stab them and make sure they're dead. So what's our guy look like? Do we have any ideas on our skin tone, eye color? You know, you can pick nature things, but lean towards tundra. Walrus tusk. I like that. Walrus tusk shank. I'm thinking a green guy. Maybe he has he could have like glowing yellow eyes, or maybe like vine-like patterns that go across his skin. And moving on from that, we've chosen a Goliath. That's so cool. I've never done Goliath before. I think I played Paladin once, and it was pretty fun. And so for the languages for our gentleman, what do you think he would know? Obviously, giant. He would know that, as he's a Goliath. What's a good second language? As I said before, this area is known for, it used to have quite a dwarf population, but during the last Great War, there was some kind of catastrophe. Our guy would probably be too young to know what exactly happened, but the dwarven population dwindled rapidly, and dwarves are few and far between. There is a sect of frost dragonborn who live here. And then we have the frost giants and the Goliaths as well. So what do we think another good language would be?
Well, I think you've all figured out the stabby stabby. We're gonna beat them to death, and then we're gonna stab them and make sure they're dead. He is a paladin of Lornell, who is the goddess of nature and the beast folk, and he is all about shaking stuff, basically. He's very loyal to his
We do giant and common. Most people speak common, so that's a good one. All right, and we're almost to the fun part. Cool. So I have a suggestion for. Oh man, we're down to 4. Man, we had 9 there for a moment. Well, thank you for joining us at the tavern. Common and dwarven. We're moving on to common and dwarven. I like that. So we know common, we know giant, and we know dwarven. Each can be situationally useful, and I do have a system for learning languages in place as well. So now we get to the fun part. We get to roll stats. And if there's anything else you'd like to... Gotta talk smack to the little people. That's right, yeah. They're about ankle high to us, right? Knee high to us, I should say, at least. So we get to roll stats. Now I can do that on D&D and Beyond, or we can roll my actual dice, which is what I prefer to do. Math rocks. I love the click-clack math rocks. So, I only brought 2 D6s. I should have brought 4. My bad. Our first number, unless anybody has any other details we'd like to add before we roll stats. Anything else? We didn't decide what kind of armor we were going to be wearing. Heavy armor gives you disadvantage on sneak, but it gives you the best armor. We do have a shield, so we can probably get away with medium armor. How is Logan decked out? Schmedium. Schmedium. Don't sneak anywhere. Loud and proud. That's right. You know, see, Logan. Exactly. I was never here. All right. So if you guys want to add anything else, let me know. But I'm going to start rolling on our stats. We got a 3 and a 2. And a 1 and a 2. And the way I do it, I picked up from another DM that I very much enjoy. His name is Robert Hartley. Robert Hartley GM podcast and Twitch and all kinds of other stuff. Definitely give him a follow. But he lets you re-roll the ones, which I am a big fan of doing. So we've got 2, 2, 2, and 3. We're going to drop the 2. If you can bear with me while I... I vote re-roll. Nothing more glorious than pelts for armor. That's straight up true. I imagine that's what we're going to be doing with the lion when we catch it. So we got a 2, 2, 2, and a 3. So we've got a 7 there. I think as a Goliath, we're definitely going to get bonus to strength and stuff like that. And for a paladin, I believe your the attributes that matter the most are constitution and wisdom. No, strength and wisdom. I think those are your thing. So we got a 7. Let's see what we got next. A 2 and a 5. And a 6 and a 5. So 6, 6, and 5. And that will be a downright 17. Nothing more glorious than a 17. That is one less than we could have got. A 6, a 6, and a 5. I love it. So 1 high, 1 low. Thank you for joining us here at the tavern. Charisma is your spellcasting modifier. Oh, is it charisma for paladins? I definitely thought it was wisdom. All right, we're coming up on our next round. We got a 1 and a 6. And a 5 and a 6. Fantastic. We're going to re-roll that 1 just in case we get another 6. We did not. So we got a 5 and a 6 and a 6. Wild. That's a 17. I should get a dice cam so you guys know I'm not lying. Maybe I can just hold it on my codex and you can watch me from there. All right. Here we go. We got a 6 and a 3. Can you see the 6 and the 3 on the D6? Probably not. Terrible camera. So a 6 and a 3. And we got a 6 and a 2. Hold it up there for you. A 6 and a 2. So we got a 6, and a 3. That will add to 13 plus 3 is a 15. Not bad. We did start low with that 7, though. So we've got 2 more to do. I'll remove some of these extra dice so nobody gets anxious about which ones we're rolling. We've got a 6 and a 2. I feel like these metal dice don't roll very consistently. So a 6 and a 2 and a 4 and a 2. So we got 6, 4, and 2, which will total out to a 12. And we've got 1 more to do. Let's see how it goes. So we've got 4 plus 3 and a 2 and a 5. So 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 5 is 12. Man, we hit all ends of the spectrum there, didn't we? So that puts us at, in order from lowest to highest, we have 7, 12, 12, 15, 17, and a 17. Not bad. All right, so for our ability scores, double check real quick on the paladin, make sure that his spellcasting modifier is in fact charisma. You are correct. Look, you just got to be a bigger nerd than me. So we have our options for our ability scores. And what would we like to do? Hold up. Don't doubt me, son. I'm sorry, Goblin Sentinel. I don't know what I was thinking to have doubted you. You got your eyes on it. 17 for strength for optimal shanking. Gotta optimize the shanking. Straight up. So we're thinking strength. We'll go highest to lowest then. So strength, all in agreement. Bum, 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 bum. Give you guys a moment to chat it out. I love the silent conspiracies. That's a yup. 2 confirms. Excellent. Let me know if anyone disagrees on our strength placement. Next up, we're going to have charisma as our spellcasting modifier. D&D classes. I'm sorry? D&D classes? Yes, they are D&D classes, if that's what you're asking. Or do I need to take a D&D class? Is that what you're saying? I could probably give the manual another read through. So we got strength at 17, which I think as a Goliath, that's definitely going to bump us up. We'll have to remember if we choose or if it'll just automatically knock us up on strength. So what's next for our charisma modifier, which is our spellcasting ability? Multi-class? Absolutely multi-class. Whatever multi-class you like. We do have charisma, wisdom, intelligence, dexterity, and constitution left. $17 on charisma. Excellent. That's kind of where I was leaning. All right, next we're on 15. We'll edit that almost phone dropout. Dex on 15? We can do that, although Constitution is going to apply to your health. So if you want to go higher on health, you can do Constitution. But I'm just giving you your options. You guys are the thoughts controlling this person, as it were. Yeah, 15 on con. And we do still have our origin of being a Goliath, where we can add 2 to 1 or 1 to the other, as long as it doesn't bring it above an 18, I believe. Okay, we'll go 15 con. We'll do 12 on the dex. And then we have our options of intelligence and, what did I miss? Wisdom. Intelligence and wisdom. So we have a 12 and a 7 left. And we're choosing between intelligence and wisdom. Our guy's not going to be very smart, is he? 12 intelligence, 7 wisdom. All right. 12 intel, 7 whiz. Excellent. And so for, as long as none of the increases raise the score above 20. 1 level dip into Hexblade Warlock will let you use Charisma as an attack modifier, so Strength doesn't need to be high. It says need to be high, but you're saying doesn't need to be high? Yeah, you can do that. You could absolutely do that. Although with our origin, we still have the option to raise something by 2 and 1 thing by 1, or we can raise 3 things by 1 as long as none of them go over 20. There's only 4 of us right now, but we may have more viewers later, so the vote could be a little tight for that multi-class. All right, 5 again. Well, welcome to the tavern. We are in the process of divvying up our ability points for our Verdant Warden Goliath. He is a paladin of Lornell, the goddess of nature and beast folk. But I think we have decided that we're going to go, unless anybody else wants to do something. I see Goblin Sentinel was talking about later doing a 1 level dip into Hexblade Warlock so that we can use our Charisma modifier as opposed to our Strength modifier for attacks. They're both at 17 right now, and we do still have our origin feat to take into account. So our +2 and +1 to something, or 3 +1s. This is the nitty-gritty math part of it. So with the 7 in the wisdom, I think we're at a -2 on our wisdom stuff. What are we thinking, guys? Someone give me an answer. I'm going to plug our numbers in here real quick. Constitution at a 15. Got our dexterity at a 12. We've got our charisma at a 17. And we have got our wisdom at a 7. And our intelligence will be a 12. Sorry, stepped away. What happened? So we have just got our abilities somewhat figured out. We've got our strength and charisma at 17, our constitution's at 15, our dexterity and intelligence are at 12, and our wisdom is at 7. Goblin Sentinel just pointed out that if we take a 1-level dip into Warlock, we can multi-class into a Hexblade Warlock, where we can use our charisma modifier for our damage rather than our strength. So we won't have to have our strength as high if we wanted to put that 17 in Constitution, is what I think he was getting at. But we do still have our origin to choose from, so we can add +1 to 3 abilities, or we can choose 2 abilities. We can give them one of them a +2 and one of them a +1. Right now, we have a plus in all of them except for wisdom. We have a -2 in wisdom currently, I believe. I mean, it's a 7, so it makes our modifier -2. Correct, yes. So, Tavern folk, what are we thinking? We could do that +2, and we could bump our charisma up to a 19. That'd give us a hell of a spellcasting modifier. Can we just +3 into wisdom to give us double digits across the board? No. You can do a +1 to 3 things, or you can do a +2 to 1 and +1 to the other. Although, were I you, I would probably lean towards bumping one of those 17s up higher if I could. That's okay. We just won't be that wise. Oh, back down to 3. We're losing them, chat. Someone give me an answer. Well, let's do +2 to charisma and +1 to strength. What up, chat? What do we think? I don't like that. What up, tavern folk? What do we think? I like that more. Def the 2 to charisma. Absolutely. And that gives us a +1 where else. If you bump your constitution up by 1, it will give you a +3 to your constitution modifier. What up, patrons? I like that. What up, patrons? Tavern folk is, what, too backwoodsy? Also, sales tactic. It makes them want to pay me. +1 to strength, more stabby. All right, that's going to bring us up to an 18 on strength and a 19 on charisma. What up, patrons? Yeah, I like that. So we're going to do the +1. Fantastic. And that is our character. We've done it. We've done it, boys. We've done it, patrons. We're sitting at a 7 in wisdom, an 18 in strength, a 19 in charisma, a 15 in constitution. We've got a 12 in dexterity and a 12 in intelligence. So let me add those last 2 modifiers. Perfect. Now we've got our equipment handled. I don't think you really have to pick too many spells, though I could be wrong. Like I said, I've not done a paladin often. So I need to look up our paladin spell list, and we can figure out what we're gonna get. Do we have any questions so far? Fantastic. And you do get a little something something for being a wild Goliath. You're gonna have a little extra abilities to that, but I will work up a sheet for us on that. And I'm gonna go check out our spells right now for you. You don't get too many. You do get a few spells. Next time we make a character, we should do it in the mold of Dave the Barbarian. Oh, I love that. I agree. Hopefully, we'll be doing a lot more of these chats. I mean, these streams, these tavern talks is what they are called. Some more of these tavern talks. All right, so we can do bless, where you can bless 3 creatures. And whenever a target makes an attack roll or saving throw, the target adds 1d4 to the attack roll or save. So it makes it easier to attack things and dodge things, essentially. We have command, where you can give a 1-word command to a creature that can see you within range. Cure wounds, where you heal, which I believe it's a d8. Yeah, 2d8 plus your spellcasting modifier. Detect good and evil. Detect good and evil will be, for the duration, you can sense the location of any aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of yourself. Detect magic, which does what it says on the tin, detect magic. You can detect where magic is within 30 feet of yourself. Detect poison and disease. Again, you can sense the location of poisonous or venomous creatures, and disease things within 30 feet of yourself. You can tell what kind of poison, creature, or contagion is in the area. It can be blocked by like a foot of stone or something like that. We have Divine Favor. Until this spell ends, your attacks with weapons deal an extra 1d4 radiant damage on hit, and it lasts for 1 minute. We have Divine Smite, where the target takes an extra 2d8 damage from the attack. The damage increases by 1d8 if it's a fiend or undead. You can take this as one bonus action, which you take immediately after hitting a target with a melee weapon or an unarmed strike. So you can hit it, and as a bonus action, you can make them cause 2d8. How many do we get? I vote heal and easier to shank/dodge. I believe you get 3. 2. You get 2. Heroism, not familiar with this one. A willing creature you touch is imbued with bravery. Until the spell ends, it is immune to frighten, and it gains temporary hit points equal to your spellcasting modifier. Protection from good and evil. Until the spell ends, one willing creature you touch is protected against creatures that are aberrations, celestials, elementals, fey, fiends, or undead, and it grants several benefits. They have disadvantage on attack rolls against you. They also can't charm or frighten you. If you already have those things, if you are charmed, whatever the first one was. The first one was bless. Protection from good and evil, makes you harder to hit. Purify food and drink. Everything within a 5-foot radius is good to eat and drink. Searing Smite. It's a bonus action you take immediately after hitting a target. As you hit the target, it takes an extra 1d6 fire damage from the attack. At the start of each of its turns until the spell ends, the target takes an additional 1d6 fire damage, then makes a Constitution saving throw. If it fails, the spell continues. If it's successful, the spell ends. That's a cool one. So you hit them, they catch on fire, and they keep burning. And then Shield of Faith. This one is as a bonus action, and it's a shimmering field of magic that surrounds you and makes you harder to hit by giving you a +2 bonus to your AC. So I'm seeing heal and easier to shank and dodge. So basically your options are, from what you guys are saying, you can do Cure Wounds, where you heal yourself. You have Smite, where you do extra radiant damage. You have Searing Smite, where you do fire damage. And you have Shield of Protection, which makes you harder to hit. And then Protection against good and evil, it makes you harder to hit if it's specifically by one of the 6 creatures that's listed. Second one, command. Oh, command, where you say the word and they do something? Is that where we're leaning? You can also prepare another spell after every long rest, so you can swap one of these out every time we take a long rest. This is just for a fortnight hence when we take our first adventure. These will be the spells we have readied for when we step into the world. So I think we're looking for Cure Wounds and maybe Shield of Faith. What up, patrons? We got 2 more. Hello, thank you for joining us here at the tavern. Agree with Bo on this one. So heal and makes you harder to stab or harder to hit or to do more damage. So we'll do Cure Wounds as one. My magic microphone died. Fantastic. Should be working now. Easier to shank and dodge. Cool. So we're going to go Cure Wounds and Shield of Faith. So Cure Wounds heals you for 2d8, I believe. The creature you touch regains a number of hit points equal to 2d8 plus your healing modifier. Fantastic. And then we have Shield of Faith, which is going to say it's a bonus action. It lasts for 10 minutes. It requires verbal, somatic, and material components. It's a shimmering field, surrounds a creature of your choice within range, granting a +2 bonus to AC for the duration. So we're nailing Shield of Faith and Cure Wounds. Excellent. We'll prepare those spells. Fantastic. So when we do Cure Wounds, it's 2d8 plus 3. All right. And then I just have to add in the rest of our gear. So I imagine we're going to go with the Explorers pack rather than the Dungeoneers pack, which will have like our torches and such in it. And we do need to equip some armor. So we were going to go medium armor. And I've got all that written down. So we're going to start in a fortnight from here. We'll probably start again at 11 p.m. or maybe 10 p.m. if extracurricular activities allow. And we will go on our first adventure. Now, I did have a story in honor of a wonderful hearthhound to share with chat, but we knocked out, yay! We knocked out an hour and 40 minutes so far, so we're a little bit over time. I was just planning to go till midnight, so I can save that story for another time. So, is there anything you guys would like to add before we end our stream? And since we have that live campaign going, I figure this would scratch the itch. Have a good night. Until next time, may your swords stay sharp, your wits stay sharper, and your stories continue long into the night. On the morrow. You all have a lovely night. Thank you for joining us here, opening night at the Gilded Coin Tavern.